The IPL could be paused or cancelled altogether in the coming days as the bio-bubble the teams were involved in has been breached, leaving players tested positive for COVID-19 and feeling unwell, with a chance that they spread to other teams too. Because of this, let's take a look at the top 5 moments we've had in the IPL up to this point. At number 5, we have Virat Kohli and Devdutt Padikkal's epic 181-run opening stand. Chasing 178, this chase was far too easy for these two. Kohli scored 72 not out from 47 balls and played the role of an anchor throughout the chase. He anchored Devdutt Padikkal, who became the first Indian uncapped player to score a century in the IPL since Bob Vitali in 2011, scoring 101 not out from 52 balls. It was a special moment for young Devdutt Padikkal to score his first IPL century batting alongside his captain, who was even willing to sacrifice a century to finish the game earlier before Virat Kohli told him to finish the game while completing a special moment. Devdutt Padikkal will likely play for India in the upcoming years. At number 4, we have Pat Cummins almost pulling off a heist against CSK. Chasing 221, KKR found themselves in a disastrous spot at 31 for 5 after 5.2 overs. Hope seemed to have been slipping away from KKR before Russell and Karthik brought back some respectability in the KKR innings. The equation had come down to KKR needing 75 from 5 overs, with all the recognized batsmen out. But the number 8 of the batting lineup, Pat Cummins, kept the game alive, smashing 30 runs off the very next over off Sam Curran, and he was hitting the most cleanest shot you will ever see. Suddenly, KKR needed 46 off 4 overs, and Pat Cummins had shown everyone what he was capable of. Even though Pat Cummins was losing partners at the other end, he didn't give up, and he kept smashing them out of the ground. The top order of KKR failed, but the number 8 batsman brought life back in the batting lineup. Unfortunately, he ran out of partners at the end to play with, and he was stranded on 66 not out from 34 balls, and KKR fell short by 18 runs. But it will always be remembered as one of the great knocks from a number 8 batsman in the IPL. At number 3, we have Sanju Samson's magical century against the Punjab Kings. To watch the full analysis of this epic knock, click the link in the description down below. Sanju Samson lit up the IPL in the 4th match of the tournament, scoring one of the most greatest IPL centuries of all time. That too, becoming the first player to score a century on their captaincy debut in the IPL. Rajasthan were chasing a mammoth score of 222. But they had just pulled off a similar run chasing at the same opposition last year, so their hopes were held high. Losing Ben Stokes early, Samson came out in the first over itself and got going right away. He played shots of all types all around the ground. Samson seemed to be in the form of his life and seemed to be connecting with everything. They needed 40 from the last 3 overs, and Samson took it upon himself to start smashing everything to the boundary ropes. The equation came down to Rajasthan needing 5 runs off 1 ball. Samson connected, but he was only a few meters away from pulling off one of the greatest IPL wins of all time. Regardless though, it was still one of the greatest IPL innings of all time. At number 2, we have Ravindra Jadeja's magical all-round performance against RCB. Walking into bat at 111 for 3 after 14 overs, they didn't really get momentum in the death they wanted, and were 154 for 4 before the 20th over began. However, Jadeja completely changed the course of the innings in 1 over, smashing a record-equaling 37 runs off the purple cap holder Harshal Patel's over, which included 5 sixes, 1 4, and a double in 7 balls. He ended up scoring 62 not out from 28 balls, and CSK ended at 191 for 4 after 20 overs. The only other player to score 37 runs in 1 over was Chris Gale, so Jadeja is in very good company. Later on in the game, RCB got off to a flyer, scoring 65 runs after 6 overs, losing 2 wickets. Jadeja came into the attack and made an immediate impact. He picked up the wicket of Washington Sundar and gave away only 3 runs in the 7th over, which broke all of RCB's momentum. In his very next over, he got the wicket of the informed Glenn Maxwell with a beauty that bowled him. In the next over of the innings, Jadeja made an impact while not even bowling. He ran out Dan Christian with an amazing direct hit, and RCB were under extreme pressure now. He then came back to bowl and put the final nail in the coffin in RCB's innings, as he bamboozled AB de Villiers and got him clean bowled. He finished the game while scoring 62 not out from 28 balls with a bat and completing a bowling quota of 4 overs, 1 maiden, 13 runs, and 3 wickets with the ball. He also had an amazing direct hit run out. Even RCB captain Virat Kohli had a smile on his face and appreciated one of the greatest ever performances in the IPL. After the match, Virat said this about Jadeja.
Again, you can probably say one guy completely beat us, and today all his skills in the field with the ball and with the bat were up for everyone to watch.
The number 1 moment of the IPL has to be Pollard pulling off yet another miracle to save the skin of the Mumbai Indians. IPL fans call this epic Mumbai vs Chennai game the El Clasico of the IPL. Mumbai Indians were set up with a daunting score of 219 to chase, and considering that Mumbai had never chased down a score of 200 plus in the IPL, it was always going to be a daunting task for them. It actually got to a point where Mumbai needed 125 from 48 balls with 7 wickets in hand, needing nearly 16 runs and over. But Pollard, as he so often does, created something out of absolutely nowhere, smashing every ball he connected out of the stadium. Due to the extremely high run rate that was required, Mumbai were never favorites in the chase, even with Pollard and Krunal Pandya batting the way they were. But Pollard reached his 50 off just 17 balls, and there was always going to be hope. When 50 was needed off the last 4 overs, Sam Curran bowled a 2-run over and got the wicket of Krunal Pandya, which put loads of pressure on the Mumbai Indians. But they didn't give up, and Pollard and now Hardik Pandya smashed it all around the park, and suddenly Mumbai needed just 16 off 6 balls. It was anyone's game at this point, but Pollard was Mumbai's last recognized batsman. The equation came down to 8 runs needed off 2 balls when Pollard smashed this 6. With 2 needed off just 1 ball, Pollard found a huge gap on the leg side. He placed the ball in that gap and ran 2, and Mumbai Indians won the game. It was the first time Mumbai had ever chased down 200 plus in the IPL, and it also made it the highest successful run chase in the IPL on Indian soil. And of course, it had to be courtesy of one of the IPL greats, Pollard. COVID-19 may have hit the IPL, but regardless of what happens to this season's IPL, it's already given us many memories and breathtaking matches. Be sure to subscribe for more cricket and football content like this.